Welcome to Whispers and Confessions. There might be a twist waiting, so please make sure to watch until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's begin right away.
Moving slowly and carefully, I lifted her skirt and slid down her underwear. I unzipped my pants just enough, and right there in that hidden corner of the library's adult section, we became one. Even though people were walking around nearby, nobody found our secret spot. Hi, I'm Frank. I'm 33 and work as an accountant in your typical office building. I have this hobby that I don't really talk about much. I love reading romance novels. While most people might go for mysteries, I find those a bit boring. Romance novels just grab me in a way other books don't. They let me imagine the characters exactly how I want to, which is something you can't do with movies. Weird, right? Trust me, I know how it sounds. Sometimes I feel pretty awkward about it myself. I usually avoid talking about what I like to read when people ask about books. The public library became my favorite spot during my days off. They had this amazing collection of romance novels. Some of the older ones had this funny old-fashioned way of writing, but that just made them more interesting. I could spend hours getting lost in different love stories. Things got rough when my girlfriend found my book collection. I'd kept it hidden because I was embarrassed, but when she discovered it, she wasn't kind about it. She called me disgusting and said I was just pretending to be normal. Even though I knew someone might react that way, her words really hurt. I tried to apologize for keeping it secret, but she walked out anyway. After that, I pretty much gave up on dating. How could I date someone when I couldn't even be honest about what I like to read? I figured I'd just stick to my books and daydreams. But life had other plans, starting with a chance meeting at my favorite library. One day, I was doing my usual thing, just looking for something new to read. I picked out a book, found my usual quiet spot, and got totally wrapped up in the story. When I finished, I went to put it back on the shelf. That's when I saw her. There was a woman browsing in the romance section, which was usually empty. I tried to just quietly return my book, but then she spoke to me in this really sweet voice. I turned around, surprised. She came up to me and said, "I've been wanting to read that one." I could barely get out before she smiled and asked, "Did you like it?" She was beautiful, like someone you'd read about in a story. Everything about her was just perfect. "Yeah, it was really good," I managed to say, still kind of stunned. "I can't wait to check it out," she said with a smile as she turned to leave. Then she stopped, turned back, and gave me this cute little wave. "Thanks," she said. My heart did this funny little jump. I grabbed another book and sat down, but I couldn't focus at all. She was sitting nearby, and even though the library was full of people, she just seemed to stand out. I kept catching myself watching her read, seeing her smile at different parts of her book. It was impossible to concentrate on my own reading. Finally, I had to step outside for some air. I reminded myself I was here to read, not to stare at some woman who probably wouldn't want anything to do with a guy like me once she really knew me. My ex's words, "disgusting," came flooding back. Those memories helped me get it together, and I went back to my book. When I finished and went to return it, there she was again. She spotted me right away and said in that gentle voice of hers, "That first book was really good." She started excitedly, "You know that part where dash," then caught herself and laughed. "Oh wait, we should probably keep it down in here, shouldn't we?" I walked over to her, wanting to talk about the book but feeling a bit nervous. "I hope I'm not bothering you," I said awkwardly. She was amazing. Her smile just lit up the room, and she seemed so comfortable being herself. It's not every day you meet someone who likes the same books as you, so I had to say something. Getting up my nerve, I asked quietly, "Was that the scene you were thinking of?" Her face lit up as she said, "Yes. Wasn't it amazing?" She gave me a shy smile and said, "I should go, but let me know if you have any other good books to recommend," before waving goodbye. I always felt like I needed to hide what I liked to read. She was so different, so open about enjoying these books. Her confidence was contagious. I started thinking maybe it was okay to like what I liked. Who cares what other people think? She was special, so different from me, and I found myself hoping we'd meet again. Watching her walk away, I felt butterflies in my stomach. That first meeting would change my life, though I didn't know it then. The next weekend, I went back to the library, secretly hoping to see her. I headed straight to my usual spot, pretending to look around casually. Like magic, there she was, returning a book. She spotted me and smiled warmly. My heart racing, I asked, "What did you read?" Maybe some of her confidence was rubbing off on me. "Oh, this one was great," she said with a knowing smile. "I'll check it out next," I said, wondering what made her smile like that. "Want to talk about it after you finish?" she asked with a friendly look. I said yes right away, so relieved she wanted to talk more. "Perfect," she said happily. "Let me know when you're done, and we can grab coffee and chat about it." I couldn't believe it. Someone actually wanted to talk books with me. This was all so new, and I was thrilled. I practically ran back to my seat with the book. Having someone to share thoughts with made me read even more carefully. When I finished, I found her still reading. She gave me that wonderful smile, and we walked outside together. "It's too quiet to really talk in there," she said as we left. "So what did you think?" She jumped right into talking about the story, and I shared what I loved about it too. We were both so happy to finally have someone to talk to about these books. She really listened to everything I said, always saying things like, "Yes, exactly," and "That's what I thought too." I'd never gotten to talk about books like this before, and it was amazing, though maybe that was partly because of her. We kept talking at a cafe nearby, going through all the books we'd read. If I hadn't met her, I probably would have never talked about these stories with anyone. Time just flew by as we chatted. As the sun was setting and we had a natural break in conversation, she said, "You know, I don't even know your name yet." That's when I found out she was Carol, and surprise, she was 40. She looked so young and full of life. I thought she was around my age. As we were getting ready to leave, she smiled and said, "Frank, I really had fun talking today." Then she added with a warm smile, "Actually, I've known who you were for a while." "Really?" I asked, surprised. "Yeah, I come here a lot too, and I'd seen you reading the same kinds of books as me." I wanted to say hi, but it's hard to start talking to someone in a quiet library. When I saw you had the book I wanted, it seemed like the perfect chance. I'm so glad we finally got to talk. It's not every day you find someone who likes these books too. We made plans to meet again for another book chat, and Carol's smile just lit up the whole place. My heart was doing flips. She'd actually noticed me before. Right then, it felt like we'd known each other forever. Reading together became something special. My trips to the library weren't just about books anymore. Every weekend, we'd meet up to read what we'd suggested to each other, then head to Starbucks for these amazing talks. Over 2 months, we just clicked naturally. Even though we were reading romance novels, we kept things friendly and casual. I told myself Carol just saw me as another book lover. But man, she was something else. Full of life, super sweet, classy, and so passionate about everything. I was falling for her, but since she didn't seem interested that way, I was happy just being friends and talking about books. Then came this one weekend at the library. Our usual coffee spot was closed for fixing up, so we tried this little private cafe nearby, and that changed everything. We were sitting in this cozy private room, talking about our latest book, when Carol suddenly put her hand on my knee. "Huh." I froze up. "You know," she said softly, looking right at me with this playful look, "this reminds me of one of our books." "Really?" was all I could say, my heart going crazy. "Yeah. Remember that scene where two people have this private moment and kiss?" Carol moved closer, like she was acting it out. I wasn't expecting this at all. I was excited but so nervous. I just sat there like a statue. I wanted to make a move, but I couldn't get myself to kiss her, even as she got closer. "What happens next?" I asked, my voice shaky. I couldn't believe those words just came out. Carol got even closer and whispered with this cute little smile. "Want to find out?" I was getting goosebumps, my heart beating like crazy. Just when I thought I couldn't take it anymore, Carol pulled back, frowning a bit. Frank, you're all tense. Don't you want this? She asked, her smile fading. No, that's not it. I wanted to yell, but the words got stuck. I'd never been so mad at myself for being shy. We finished our drinks without saying much and left. Carol kept smiling, but I could tell she was let down. Next weekend at the library, Carol sat right next to me instead of her usual spot. I was reading this really romantic part when I caught her peeking at my book. My heart started racing. I could feel how close she was, and the whole thing felt so intimate. Carol kept touching me playfully where no one could see, giving me these sweet smiles that made me shiver. When she leaned in and whispered, "Want to read together?" I totally lost it. I wanted to respond so bad, but we were in public. I had to keep it together. When I didn't do anything, Carol looked a bit sad and said she needed to use the bathroom. Something made me follow her, and I ended up in the adult book section. There she was, hidden between the shelves where nobody could see. This is my chance. Before I knew it, I grabbed her hand. Carol jumped and started to say, "Oh, wait." But when she saw it was me, she relaxed and said my name all soft. I pulled her deeper into the hidden spot and hugged her. No more teasing and running away, I whispered, starting to lose control. We shouldn't. Carol whispered nervously. Can I kiss you? I asked softly, and she gave me a tiny nod. When our lips met, it felt like electricity running through my body. Carol sank into my arms, breathing heavily, and her reaction was so incredible that I lost all control. Our kisses got deeper and more intense as we held each other tight, both of us caught up in the heat of the moment. Moving slowly and carefully, I lifted her skirt and slid down her underwear. I unzipped my pants just enough, and right there in that hidden corner of the library's adult section, we became one. Even though people were walking around nearby, nobody found our secret spot. The hushed atmosphere of the library made everything feel more intense. We had to be extra careful not to make a sound. Carol tried her best to stay quiet, biting her lip and shaking. Watching her try so hard to keep silent just made me want her more, even though I knew we needed to be quiet. Hold on, Carol whispered, but I couldn't stop myself. She kept whispering shoo, someone might hear, but I was lost in the moment. She nodded, fighting to stay silent, but little sounds still escaped her lips. When it was over, we held each other close in our hidden spot, catching our breath. You're terrible, Carol whispered with a cute pout. Sorry, I got carried away, I whispered back. And here I thought you weren't into me at all, she said. I kept dropping hints at the cafe and earlier, but you never picked up on them. Even when I was super obvious, you just froze, Carol said, sounding a bit hurt. I was just really shy, I quickly explained. Oh, that makes sense. I thought you were turning me down, she said, her smile coming back. I'm happy now, Carol whispered sweetly. Fixing her clothes, she added with a playful grin. But next time, we're going to a hotel, and you'll have to make up for teasing me like this. I couldn't help smiling at her playful warning. We snuck out of the library, our hearts pounding at the thought someone might have heard us. We went straight to a hotel where we could finally be together properly. It felt amazing to hear Carol's voice without her having to hold back. After, I finally told her everything. I honestly thought you weren't into me this whole time. I didn't see any signs. Even though I had feelings for you, I was too scared to say anything. Our book talks meant so much to me that I was afraid I'd mess everything up if I told you how I felt. But after what happened at the cafe, everything changed, and I'm so happy we're together now. I love you, Carol. It wasn't your typical love confession, but I finally said what was in my heart. Carol's face lit up. You know, at first I just thought of you as another book lover. But the more we talked, the more I saw how much we had in common. Not just the books we liked, but how we think about things. I bet lots of people love romance novels but keep it secret, so it's hard to find others who get it. That's why I needed someone to talk about these books with. Our cafe chats were so great that I always wanted them to last longer. Before I knew it, I'd fallen for you. When you didn't get any of my hints, I decided to be more direct. That's why I made a move at the cafe. You're so serious most of the time, but when you smile, you're just the sweetest, kindest person. That's what made me fall for you. I'm so glad we're together now, she said warmly. I realized then how blind I'd been to her feelings. After we started dating, we kept our weekend library routine. Though we switched from cafes to hotels afterward, we still loved talking about books and everything else. It was our special way of growing closer. Once we were together, I opened up to Carol about my insecurities. I wish I could be confident about what I like to read, like you are. She gave a soft laugh and said, "Are you embarrassed? I used to feel the same way when I was younger." Really? I always worried people would think it was weird. I got teased about it too. I shared, surprised to hear she'd been through the same thing. But after I hit 37, I stopped caring what others thought. Maybe that's just part of growing up. You get stronger in a good way. You learn to accept yourself and others and realize, hey, that's just life. That's what being a grown-up is really about. Everyone figures things out at their own pace, but learning to love the part of you that enjoys romance novels might help you stop feeling ashamed, Carol said wisely. While we all grow up differently, I wanted to become as wise as Carol someday. My respect for her grew even more, and being with her helped me feel better about myself. We cherished what we had, both as book buddies and as a couple. Carol became way more than just my girlfriend. She turned into this amazing mentor who I looked up to so much. Every day I spent with her, I fell more in love. We had such great times together, always laughing and sharing special moments. After 7 amazing months, I just knew she was the one. No other woman could ever compare to how much I loved and respected Carol. My heart was racing like crazy when I bought the ring and planned how to propose. When the big moment came, I just let my feelings flow. Carol's whole face lit up as she hugged me tight. "You know what?" she said softly. "You always make me feel so at peace." She squeezed my hand and added, "Frank, I love how sweet and caring you are. Let's build a happy, peaceful life together. I love you so much. We'll always take care of each other, okay?" Everything just clicked after that. We tied the knot and started our own little family. In our new place, we set up this cozy little study that reminded us of where we first met at the library. It's been 7 years since we got married, and I swear I love her more every day. I still look up to her just as much as I did back then. Now that I'm 40, I finally get what she was talking about years ago. I've learned to just be myself and not judge others. I don't worry anymore about what people might think of me. These days, I can just be myself and let others be themselves too. I know it's all thanks to having Carol by my side. She's been such a great role model and the most loving wife I could ask for. Looking ahead, we're going to keep reading our romance novels together, having those deep talks we love, sharing laughs, and just enjoying our love. I can't wait to see what's next for us. To keep things exciting like when we first met, we still go back to the library sometimes. It brings back all those amazing memories and keeps our marriage feeling fresh and fun. Moving forward, I want to hold on to all these precious memories and grow old with this incredible woman I admire so much. I'm just so happy knowing I get to spend the rest of my life with Carol.